Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you're into this kind of stuff. Today, we're diving deep into the world of crypto, specifically, how to actually make some money in this crazy market.
Oh, yeah.
I know everyone's heard the stories, right? People get rich overnight with crypto. But is it really all it's hyped up to be? Let's find out.
Well, those overnight success stories, they're definitely exciting to hear about.
Yeah,
But honestly, they're kind of like winning the lottery.
right.
It's not really a solid plan for building wealth.
Not a reliable strategy.
Yeah, the reality is that building real wealth in crypto takes time, just like any other investment.
So you're saying it's not just about finding the next meme coin, hoping it's going to skyrocket.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of chasing, those like quick riches, it's better to think of crypto as like a piece of a bigger puzzle.
Okay, got it.
Like a long-term strategy. You want to integrate it into a diversified portfolio and let it grow steadily over time.
So playing the long game instead of trying to hit a home run every time.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But with so many cryptocurrencies out there, where do you even begin? It can be pretty overwhelming for someone just starting out.
Oh, absolutely. It can be super overwhelming. I'd say a good place to start is by, focusing on those established cryptocurrencies.
Like what? Bitcoin, Ethereum?
Exactly. Bitcoin and Ethereum, think of them as like the blue chip stocks of the crypto world.
Oh, okay.
They've got that history behind them, a solid track record, large market cap.
Yeah.
And they've shown that they can kind of bounce back from, tough times.
They're resilient.
Yeah. In fact, some financial analysis like Fidelity did some research on the Sharpe ratio. Have you heard of that?
I have. It looks at risk and return.
Yeah, exactly. And it actually favors Bitcoin as a solid investment choice.
Interesting. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of like the foundation of a crypto portfolio. But what about all those other, more exciting opportunities?
Oh, yeah.
Like DeFi and like active trading. Are those things worth exploring too?
Absolutely. Those are definitely worth exploring. But it's like anything else. You got to learn to walk before you can run, right?
Okay.
If you jump into those more advanced things without a solid understanding of the basics, it's kind of like, driving a car really fast without knowing where the brakes are.
Yeah, that's a terrifying analogy, but I get it.
Yeah, you could end up in a ditch pretty quickly.
So you're saying even if we're feeling adventurous, we got to make sure we've got those fundamentals down first.
For sure, for sure. And speaking of fundamentals, one of the most important things to master is risk management.
Oh, okay.
In the crypto world, there's a saying. It goes, you make money by surviving.
Surviving. That sounds intense.
It is. Essentially means that protecting your money is just as important as finding the right investments.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So what does that mean practically? Surviving in the crypto market.
It means understanding the risks,
Yeah.
taking steps to kind of minimize them.
Like what kinds of steps?
Well, for example, you might limit, how much crypto you have in your portfolio. Only put in what you can afford to lose,
Right, right.
Diversify your holdings. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Got it.
And maybe most importantly, avoid making decisions based on emotions.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all heard those stories. People panic selling when the market dips.
Right, right.
Or, going all in on the next hot coin because everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
You got to avoid those emotional traps.
Right. So it's not just about like picking the right investments. It's also about managing your emotions.
Yeah.
Having a clear strategy.
Exactly.
Okay. So that brings us to another like classic pitfall, the temptation to try and time the market.
Oh, yeah.
We all dream of buying low and selling high.
Yeah.
But the reality is that even possible?
Everyone wishes they could do that. But it's incredibly difficult, even for the pros, the seasoned traders.
So resist the urge to try and predict the market's every move.
Exactly. Focus on developing a sound strategy and stick to it, even when things get a little, bumpy.
Okay, so patience and discipline are key.
Right.
But how do you drown out all the noise?
Right.
All the hype that constantly surrounds the crypto world. It's pretty overwhelming.
That's a really good point. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, the prices going up and down and all the chatter on Twitter and all that. But remember, you're in this for the long haul.
Right.
Focus on your long-term goals and try to tune out the noise. Think of it like sailing a ship through a storm.
Okay, I like that.
You need a steady hand on the wheel and a clear course charted out. If you're constantly changing direction, based on every little gust of wind, you're just going to get thrown off course.
That's a great analogy. So we need to be the captains of our own crypto ships, navigating through those storms with a clear vision and a steady hand.
Exactly. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just like hold steady and weather the storm.
I love it. Okay, so we've debunked some myths. We've talked about long-term thinking. We even touched on some key, risk management stuff.
Yeah.
But what if you don't just want to passively invest in crypto? What if you want to be more actively involved?
That's a great question. One really interesting idea is actually getting a job in the crypto sector.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that, being immersed in the industry. You're gaining firsthand experience, maybe earning a higher income, all while being part of something truly revolutionary.
It's a whole different way to think about profiting from crypto. So instead of just hoping that your investments are going to take off, you could actually be building a career in this exciting and rapidly evolving field.
Exactly.
Wow, this is really eye-opening. It's like discovering a whole new world of possibilities within the crypto space.
Right.
But before we get too carried away, let's pause here for now, and we'll come back for part 2 of our deep dive. We'll delve a little deeper into specific strategies for profiting from crypto and explore some of the tools and resources that can help you on your journey.
Sounds good. We'll see you back here soon for part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into profiting from crypto.
Yeah.
Before the break, we talked about, some key principles, long-term thinking, risk management, and we even touched on that exciting idea of finding a job in the crypto world.
Right.
But let's get a little bit more tactical now.
Okay. Yeah.
What are some specific strategies that someone could actually use to make the most of this long-term approach?
Well, one classic strategy that's been used in a lot of different asset classes, including crypto, is dollar cost averaging.
Okay. Dollar cost averaging, I've heard of that.
Yeah. It's a pretty simple but effective technique. Basically, you invest a set amount of money at regular intervals, regardless of what the price is doing.
So instead of trying to time the market perfectly, you're basically spreading out your investments over time.
Exactly. And that can actually help take some of the emotion out of it.
Makes sense.
When prices are low, you'll be buying more crypto for your money. And when they're high, you'll buy less.
Right.
Over time, it kind of averages out your purchase price. And that could potentially lead to higher returns.
Okay. So dollar cost averaging, I like it. Anything else?
Yeah. Diversification is another super important one.
Right.
We touched on this earlier, talking about risk management.
Yeah.
But it's really worth emphasizing. Just like you wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, you don't want to put all your crypto into a single asset.
So spread your risk by investing in, a variety of different cryptocurrencies?
Yes, but diversification isn't just about the number of different assets that you hold. It's also about the types.
Okay.
You might want to think about diversifying across different sectors within the crypto market.
Oh, like what?
Like decentralized finance, NFTs, gaming, things like that.
That makes a lot of sense. So by diversifying across different sectors, you're not only spreading your risk, but you're also potentially tapping into a wider range of growth opportunities.
Exactly.
Okay, diversification, got it. But keeping track of all of that, it can be, a bit daunting for some people. What about people who might not be comfortable managing their investments all on their own?
Oh, that's a good point. If you're someone who prefers a more hands-off approach, you could explore crypto index funds and ETFs.
Index funds, like in the stock market.
Yeah, similar to that. These funds track the performance of a basket of cryptocurrencies.
So it's like having a diversified crypto portfolio all bundled into a single investment.
Exactly. They offer a really convenient and relatively low-cost way to get exposure to the broader market without having to pick and choose individual assets.
Okay.
And what's really nice is that they're passively managed, meaning you don't have to actively trade or rebalance your holdings. The fund managers do all that for you.
That sounds perfect for someone who's, maybe just starting out with crypto investing. Like a
Yes.
one-stop shop for building a diversified portfolio.
Exactly. But for those who are a little more comfortable, being hands-on, staking is another strategy worth exploring. We briefly touched on this concept earlier.
Yeah, I remember.
But basically, it lets you earn rewards by holding and validating transactions on a blockchain network.
Yeah, it sounded like a pretty passive way to, earn some income from your crypto holdings, as opposed to, constantly buying and selling.
Exactly. Staking can be a great way to kind of put your crypto to work for you,
Yeah.
generate some extra returns,
Well,
especially for those who have, a longer-term investment horizon. Instead of letting your crypto just sit idle in a wallet, you can actually earn rewards by participating in the network. And the rewards can really vary depending on the cryptocurrency and the platform you're using.
Okay, so it's worth doing some research.
Definitely do your research.
Yeah.
Compare the different options.
Okay, so we've got dollar cost averaging, diversification, index funds, ETFs, staking. That's a pretty good arsenal of strategies.
Yeah,
But I have to admit, I'm still a little bit apprehensive about the volatility in the crypto market.
I hear you.
It can be pretty wild at times. It's hard not to get caught up in that whole emotional roller coaster.
Oh, I completely understand. Volatility is just part of the game in crypto, especially at this stage of, its development.
Right.
And it's important to remember that, volatility works both ways.
Yeah.
It creates risks, but it also creates opportunities.
Okay.
The key is to not let those short-term swings, those ups and downs, derail your long-term investment strategy.
Easier said than done, though, right?
Yeah.
How do you actually navigate that volatility without, getting completely thrown off course?
It all comes back to those, core principles we talked about earlier.
Right.
Patience, discipline, and a long-term perspective. When you step back and look at the big picture, those short-term price fluctuations, they become less significant.
So it's all about riding the waves, knowing that the tide will eventually come in.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, you're not in this alone. The crypto community can be an amazing resource for learning and, getting support. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions, connect with others who are, on this journey with you.
That's really encouraging. It's like having a whole team of navigators helping you chart your course through these, uncharted waters.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered some really great strategies. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to talk about the risks involved. No investment is without risk, and crypto is certainly no exception.
You're absolutely right. Understanding the risks is just as important as understanding, the potential rewards. So let's maybe shift gears a bit and take a look at some of the things that you should be aware of before diving headfirst into the crypto world.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into profiting from crypto. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have.
From debunking those get-rich-quick myths to exploring, practical strategies like dollar cost averaging, diversification, all that good stuff. But as we wrap things up here, I think it's important to, shine a light on some of the potential risks involved. It's important to go into this, with your eyes wide open,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Understanding the risks is just as important as understanding the potential rewards.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the things you should be aware of, before you just jump headfirst into the crypto world.
Okay.
First and foremost, we got to address the elephant in the room, right? Volatility.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. The crypto market is known for those, wild price swings. And that can be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But it can also be pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's like riding a roller coaster in the dark.
Yeah.
You know there are going to be ups and downs, but you have no idea how intense they'll be or when they're coming.
That is a great analogy. And remember, that volatility doesn't just apply to, like the market as a whole.
Oh, okay.
Individual cryptocurrencies, they can experience even more dramatic price fluctuations.
Well,
So even if you've diversified your portfolio carefully, it's still possible to see some of your holdings, take a pretty big dip.
so how do you approach that kind of volatility
Right.
without letting it, totally derail your investment strategy?
Right.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the fear and make, kind of impulsive decisions.
It's really easy. And that's why it all comes back to those, core principles we've been talking about. Patience, discipline, long-term perspective. When you zoom out and look at the big picture, those short-term price fluctuations become less significant. Think of it like, watching the waves crashing on the shore. That tide is eventually going to come in regardless of those individual waves.
Right, right. But even if you're, mentally prepared for that volatility, are there any practical steps you can take to, mitigate those risks?
Definitely. One of the most important things is, carefully manage your position size. Never invest more than you can comfortably afford to lose. That way, even if one of your investments, goes south, it won't totally wipe you out.
Right. Don't bet the farm on any single crypto, no matter how promising it might seem. What other risks should we be mindful of?
Security is another big one. Cryptocurrencies are digital assets, which makes them vulnerable to hacking, theft.
Okay.
Choosing a reputable and secure wallet to store your crypto is absolutely essential.
Yeah, it's like having a digital safe for your crypto treasures.
Exactly. You got to make sure it's Fort Knox level secure.
Yeah.
do your research, select a wallet with a strong track record of security, and if you're using a centralized exchange for trading, make sure you choose one with robust security measures in place.
Right.
Oh, and be extremely wary of phishing scams and any attempts to gain access to your private keys.
Yeah.
Those are basically the keys to your kingdom.
Right.
So guard them carefully.
Okay, security check. What else is out there? What else is lurking in the crypto shadows?
Another one to be aware of is regulatory uncertainty. The crypto space is still relatively new. Regulations are constantly evolving. Governments all over the world are still trying to figure out how to approach this whole thing, this emerging asset class.
Yeah.
And, we could see big changes that could impact your investments down the road.
So it's important to stay informed about those regulatory developments.
Yeah.
And just, be prepared to maybe adapt your strategy as needed.
Exactly. Don't just assume things will always stay the same. Keep an eye on what's happening. Be ready to adjust.
Regulatory uncertainty noted. Is there anything else we should have on our radar?
One final risk I'd like to highlight is just the sheer number of scams and fraudulent projects out there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The crypto space, unfortunately, attracts its fair share of bad actors.
People just trying to take advantage.
Exactly. Looking to take advantage of, unsuspecting investors.
So we need to be on high alert
Yeah.
for, those too good be true promises and get rich quick schemes.
Absolutely. Don't let greed cloud your judgment. Do your due diligence, research those projects thoroughly, and be skeptical. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
It's like the Wild West out there
It is.
with, crypto outlaws lurking around every corner.
You got it. And knowledge is your best weapon against those bad actors.
Yeah.
Arm yourself with information, be discerning, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From exploring, the incredible potential of crypto to understanding the risks involved. It's been a wild ride, but honestly, I feel much more equipped to navigate this whole exciting, ever-changing landscape now.
That's great to hear. Remember, knowledge is power in the crypto world. The more you learn, the better prepared you'll be to make those smart decisions.
Absolutely. And remember, this is just the beginning of your crypto journey. There's always more to learn and more to explore, more to discover. So stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And to all our listeners out there, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, happy investing.